this week against the Washington Commanders, the Pittsburgh Steelers will look different. And they have a number of guys coming back from injury that will be massive in week 10 for a team that I'm going to say it, and I hope people don't take this the wrong way, but I kind of looked into the Washington Commanders over the last couple of days. You know, I've done some homework. I've watched some games, and I'm not as worried about the Washington Commanders as I think a lot of people might be. I don't fear them as a football team as much as I think the world fears them as a football team. I mean, they should have lost to the Giants early in the season. They should have lost to the Bears late in the season. I mean, that's a 5-4 football team, not a 7-2 football team. That's a different world right there. Their run defense is very weak. Their defense as a whole is not really the greatest. It's more so really good red zone defense. They do a good job at stopping teams from scoring once they get down there, which will be a challenge for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I don't necessarily view it as the end of the world. And this is a big, bad, scary thing for the Steelers. I'm telling you, I mean, I get it. People are going to be like, dude, you're an idiot. Why are you saying this right now? They might be a little bit, if you watch them, they're less terrifying than if you just look at what's going on.
What you described there was the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I agree with that.
I mean, defense that can allow a lot of yards, but they tighten up in the red zone. Offense that is primarily run game first and then has a quarterback that protects the football. It's a mirror versus me. It's a mirror matchup. It's what that is. And I don't know if I'd say that I'm not afraid of them. I personally, I wouldn't, if I'm the Steelers, I wouldn't be afraid of anybody, but I'm not going to say that it's a cakewalk for certain. And I know you didn't, but I'm also not saying that this is a team that I would talk bad about at all, because you know what, despite their flaws, they are 7-2. You know, and how many times have we heard you are what your record says you are? And they are a 7-2 football team with a rookie quarterback that is not playing like a rookie quarterback.
Look at the very true. Everything very true about that. And I won't sit here and try to like argue that the Commanders are bad, because I don't think that they are bad. And I agree that the Steelers, that there is somebody in Washington right now, not named Nick Belsky, talking about how the Pittsburgh Steelers don't really look as scary as they are. And their record might not indicate that they're as good as maybe they aren't. And I get that, but I just letting the people know. It will look different. The Steelers will look different. They're getting Zach Frazier, Nick Herbig, and Cordero Patterson back this week, which is massive. And on top of that, I don't know if you heard yesterday, but Mike Tomlin, he said that if Justin Fields is playing and both these guys are on the roster, that you should always anticipate a Justin Fields package. Let me ask you, is this finally the week? Healthy Pittsburgh Steelers. Cordero Patterson is back with the running game. Zach Frazier is up front. The offensive line is finally clicking. Mike Williams is in town. Everything's feeling good. Is this finally the week we see a Justin Fields package for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I think that depends on how the game starts. If the Steelers get off to a decent start, I think that they decide to unveil this a little bit. If the Steelers are behind the 8 ball, or if they're starting off slow, they're not going to be like, well, 3 and outs to start the game. You know what's going to fix it? Triple read option with Justin Fields for one play. That's what we're going to do. I think that if they get off to a start where it's either even keel or they're off to a good start, that's when they're going to get in their bag a little bit. And that's when I could see Justin Fields package coming out. But I think it's got to be in the right circumstance and the right situation for the Steelers offense. And a lot of the first, it's not going to be in the, what do we call it always? The first 15 plays. It's not going to be in the script. It's not. It's going to be something they dial up if the moment arises, and the moment has to arise. Again, playing a good team. I'm not certain that the moment is going to arise, but I wouldn't rule it out.
I think we're getting it.
Okay.
I think we're getting it. I think it'll be close enough early where you're just going, why not? Toss it in there. Let's see what happens. You get down to the red zone. You know that this is a good red zone defense. Why not? You toss it in there. You see what happens. I think Justin Fields is I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will look completely different this week. They will have their best offensive line that they've had all season, maybe outside of the Troy Fox. Because to be honest, Mason McCormick's playing like freak right now. Like that dude's a stud. You're getting Nick Herbig back, most likely, on top of Preston Smith just joining the team. And now for the first time all season, your running back room will be 100% healthy. And you just added another deep threat, which will most likely open up the running game. I mean, the Steelers will look very different. in week 10 against the Washington Commanders. If you're as dedicated to your football team as I am, you've got to check out my partners, DraftKings Sportsbooks. With options to bet on your favorite team, favorite players, props, and more, there's something for everyone. And right now, all new customers who bet just $5 will get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Now that's something to celebrate this season. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and sign up using my promo code ALLSTEELERS. The crown is yours. That's right. New customers can bet just $5 on anything and receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. Stay in on the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have the shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code ALLSTEELERS and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code ALLSTEELERS only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Of these guys, I'll ask you to pick one. Zach Frazier, Nick Herbig, Cordell Patterson, Preston Smith, Mike Williams. Who is the guy? Potentially Ben Skoranek. Who? Okay. Let's be. I'm going to be a little critical of the Pittsburgh Steelers here. Okay. You have 8 guys that you could call off of the IR per season. You've wasted one on Dylan Cook that you cut the next day. And now you're going to do it. Like Ben Skoranek doesn't have a roster spot when he comes back. What are we doing here? Yeah. What are we possibly doing here?
Yeah, potentially doing that the day after you finally trade for a wide receiver does make a little bit less sense.
What are we? Do you have to still do it with Corey Trice? That is 3. You are going to hope that at some point Troy Fautanu, late in the season, could be another guy. That's what, 4? Tyler Matakevich is going to be 5. That leaves you with 3 more to work with the rest of the season. I'm just saying. I don't know if Ben Skoranek would be that high on my list. And I hope Ben doesn't hear this because I heard he's a good dude. I've never spoken to him, but I heard he's a good dude. Of those guys, Ben Skoranek, Zach Frazier, Nick Herbig, Cordell Patterson, Mike Williams, and Preston Smith. Who are you most excited to see back on this field or on this field for the first time in a while for the Steelers?
Oh, that's a tough one because I'm excited to see a lot of these guys. I'm excited to see, obviously, anytime you make these trades midseason, you're excited to see what they look like in a new uniform. It's supposed to be that immediate jolt to help your team kind of push forward into the next half of your season. But I can't lie. I don't hate what Ryan McCullum has done, but I love me some Zach Frazier. So I'm excited to see the Bash brothers, Frazier, McCormick, getting together, getting on the same page with Isaac Seumalo on the left side there. I'm looking at that interior offensive line and I'm saying, Najee, follow those 3 butts because they're going to be about 10 yards down the field a second after the ball is snapped. So I'm excited to see Frazier, but that doesn't take away from the excitement I have for the other guys.
For Ben Skoranek?
Especially Ben Skoranek. He's going to have, if he plays, at least 1 special teams tackle.
The Bash Brothers is a phenomenal nickname for the Steelers offensive line. Phenomenal nickname for the Steelers offensive line. Like, I don't know.
Not original, but
yeah, but it is at the same time because that's who they are. That's who they are. And if Isaac Seumalo wasn't there, you could call him the I don't know, the Country Bash Bros, or so, you could come up with something. You know what I mean? Like South Dakota and West Virginia. Does it get any more shoot a bison and eat some deer than that? Like, does it? I don't think it does. I agree with you. Zach Frazier is the guy I am most excited to have back, but I think Cordell Patterson's going to make some noise. I do. I think he was right on the verge of making noise before he got hurt. He looked like he was really ramping up, and I think what he's able to do this weekend could be fun and exciting because the Steelers are waiting. Like, they're waiting to have that guy on the field and to have another running back option with Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. And I think Patterson is going to have a bigger role than anybody anticipated once he does return. And then obviously Mike Williams, but Preston Smith, man. Preston Smith's going to be my new dude. I'm telling you, he's going to be my new dude.
We did say last game against the Giants, how many times did we see everybody get moved except for Cam Hayward ended up being on an island?
Yeah.
It could be Cam Hayward and Preston Smith that are on an island now, which is nice. It makes it harder to find those holes when there's at least two players that are holding their own at the line of scrimmage. So you know what? I'm excited for Preston Smith too.
I agree. I agree. Does it make you any more excited that this guy's got a tiger with blue eyes tatted down the middle of his neck? Because I saw it and went, wow, this dude's a monster. This dude just became so much more intense in my eyes. So much more intense.
More than that, I like what you're saying about his personality and getting to talk to him, because that's what the Steelers defense has been a lot this year. Because whenever you get into these pressure pack situations, you want the guys like a Landon Roberts who are going to be like, this is nothing. I'm just going to dive over the line and I'm going to use my forehead to force a fumble. Guys like Deshaun Elliott, who feel like they don't feel pressure at all, are going to be able to go out there and perform in the biggest of moments. Adding a guy like that to an already stacked defense that has a lot of those type of guys. I mean, TJ Watt doesn't feel the pressure. Anytime it's a pressure pack situation, it feels like everything around him fades away. So to get another guy that feels like he's coming into this loose and ready to just contribute in any way possible, ready to make jokes, ready to be ready whenever the time is called, I like that about him a lot. And again, it's not something that you can analyze or put on a spreadsheet, but it's something that you get the feel of with the Steelers defense when they're at their best, is when they're talking trash, is when they're feeling loose, is when they're joking. And I feel like adding another guy like that to this group is a good addition.
Yeah. Plus, he's got a tiger tattooed down the middle
of his neck
with blue eyes, and it just looks so badass. So shout out. I mean, I'm tatted up, man, and I always appreciate one or two. Yeah, just one or two.
I haven't noticed.
Couple of them. No, nobody usually does. I try to keep them pretty covered. You know, like I never wear short sleeve shirts ever, actually.